Well, it's interesting. I prepared a couple of stats here. In the last 5 seasons, the reigning champs finished, on average, 28 points off the top the following season, averaging 7th position. You think of Leicester, you think of Chelsea under Mourinho, and Manchester United as well when David Moyes came into play. In fact, of the last 5 seasons, 3 managers didn't finish out the season. Moyes, Mourinho, Ranieri.
That stat that you've just read out there, I bet you Pep knows that stat. And he's worked on that, and he's making sure that that doesn't come into play this season. I think the knowledge and depth that they have in Manchester City, I've been there a couple of times, and I'm sure you've been there. The way they go about their research for football games, football matches, all right through the youth, all the way up to the first team, I think it's second to none. And I think these kind of stats now, they're going to be a thing of the past. I think with Manchester City, to beat them, you need a methodology, you need a way to beat them. And I think the only way, or the best way to beat Manchester City is to beat them at what they do, and I'm not sure that there's any team capable of doing that just yet. Arsenal are probably the closest, or one of the closest, with their attacking style of play, but like we says, they do need to organise and sort out the defensive side as well. But for me, Pep is clued in about these things, and he's not going to allow you to say this next season.
Any team worth their salt, as Darius said, any team worth their salt looks at the stats and uses it as fuel. This team here, Pep will want them to make history, especially. Who was the last team to do it? Manchester United. So they'd love to be able to do that back-to-back Premier Leagues. It's going to be a tough ask, but as I said before, they've got the quality to do it, but it's up to the other teams to make it so difficult for them to retain it.
The other issue, I guess, would be teams that face you, not just in Arsenal, where they can go toe-to-toe with you in terms of style, etc., but when you are playing the reigning champs or a very big club, say a Manchester United, you probably didn't even need to be psyched up by your manager, did you? Because you know exactly who you're playing against.
Yeah, you've got to be on the top of your game. You can't afford to make mistakes. You can't afford to slack. You can't afford to switch off for 1 second, for 1 minute, a team like this. 3 passes could be in the back of your net, and that's as a striker as well. The game's a lot different now, obviously. I think strikers more now have to defend and have to help the team out. You're right, you have to lift your game, and you can't afford to slack off 1 minute.
But you wouldn't have anybody needing to tell you to up your game, would you? That's the thing.
No, look, the motivation is paramount against the big boys. The big boys, but the big boys is where the big rewards come in. If you can get your noses in front against the big teams, then they have to open up, and the likes of myself and Darius, we get more opportunities to go through. But if you go down, you know, you are really under the cushion. They play keep ball, so this is going to be a really interesting game today.